What do you do when you've got friends who've told you, oh, our divorce was so easy, it was lovely, we're still friends and we get along and we just love it and the kids love it, they love us better now. But you want that kind of divorce, but here are the signs that you're seeing. You're seeing nastygram text messages multiple times a day, during work hours, at night, etc., swinging by your house, screaming at you in front of the kids, cutting you off from credit cards or blocking you out of bank accounts. We're in high conflict land. You may want this to be kind and compassionate and loving because you did once love this person, but that's just not where they are. And what I will say about this is that when you see those signs, don't take the bait and don't be the bait. So when you know high conflict is on the horizon, when you are being baited, you know you're being baited. However, whatever your bait is, your spouse knows it. They know what kind of fish you are. They know what you're going to bite on. This is the time not to bite. Don't bite. You're smarter than that now. The reason you're getting this divorce is you're smarter than that now. You don't have to take that bait. And then don't be his bait or her bait either. Don't do it. You know their bait. We've all done it. I would be embarrassed if somebody saw some of the conversations I have had with my husband where I baited him or he baited me and I took it. Divorce, stop. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. It's going to cost you time and money, and it's going to hurt your kids. And if you want to come out on the other side of this, not as friends, we're not going to expect that. That's too great an expectation for a high conflict situation. If you want to come out on the other side of it as good co-parents, as people who cooperate with one another, let's say you don't have kids, who just cooperate with one another to get things done that need doing. Because after the divorce, there might be a house to sell. There might be some assets that you're going to have to get rid of in some way, and you're going to have to continue to communicate with each other. What if you go to the same parties, still with the same people, and you see one another at church? We want to make sure that you have some kind of a workable relationship. And the only way you're going to get it, if the other person is showing those signs of high conflict, is for you not to respond. Do not take the bait. Don't react. I met with this client the other day and motions have been filed in this case. And so I have read the motion. I sent it to her. She immediately called and said, he's lying. He is lying. I never did this. I never did that. That's not what happened, et cetera, et cetera. So how do you deal with that? One, you know that this is a person who's already made similar accusations. This is not a new problem, right? Not a new problem. What we've got to do in the legal system is deal with it legally, okay? We then address in either a response to the motion or at a hearing by presenting evidence that the lie is indeed a lie. So this is where, if you're my client, we're going to sit down, and we already have, and unpack, well, what really happened. And I will also tell you that sometimes what we see is the out and out false accusations are partially true sometimes. Not always, but partially true. So we need to, as a client and attorney, sit down, gather evidence, gather emails and documents and photographs and videos and anything that is relevant to the alleged lie and determine, well, is it truly a lie? How much of it is true? How much of it is false? And then we go in and present the truth, the honest truth. We do not respond by coming up with similar false accusations. Understand that as an attorney, as an officer of the court, it is my job for my clients to sit down with them, and not because I don't believe my clients, but because I have to have evidence to prove what they are telling me. Your word is not enough. His word is not enough. Her word is not enough. We have to have evidence. So that's what we do. We build our case. We find out the truth by looking at evidence. And sometimes the truth is somewhere in the middle, and we've got to make an argument about how this false or partially false accusation plays out within the context of the law. So we take the facts, the evidence, and apply it to the law, and then tell the court, hey, here are the real facts, and here's the law. Your Honor, here's what you should do. And that's how we deal with it. Family law is, and especially divorce, especially when there are children, is one of the most difficult areas of law because it's so emotionally draining. There's just nothing fun about being involved in a divorce. There's nothing pleasant. And so it is really easy for you as someone that's involved in a divorce to just let it completely consume you, to become like depressed, anxious, to lose weight, gain weight, stop exercising, go to work and not be productive. It's really easy to not see friends, to drink too much. There are so many things that can come into play during the course of a divorce, especially when the other person is just peppering you. And again, giving you bait, and it's really tempting to take it. And then you're so used to taking the bait that now that you're not taking it, you don't even know what to do with yourself. And so your mental health really suffers during the course of this. So the things that we've got to do to protect ourselves during the course of a high conflict divorce are to really honor first, this is hard. It's really hard. There's nothing defective about you. You didn't fail. You're not a loser. You're not unattractive. You did nothing. Maybe you did things wrong, but let's say you did. This is the opportunity for you to fix those within yourself. You're not going to fix the marriage right now. You're going to work on you internally. Give yourself space. Give yourself time. If you've never practiced deep breathing, great time to do this, especially if you're going to have to interact with that high conflict partner. Have a plan. Work with a divorce coach, for example. So now your lawyer isn't going to be able to serve as your therapist unless you want to pay a lot of money for that service. However, you can seek out a therapist of your own, a divorce coach who really just understands all of the difficult emotions and situations and the circumstances and even some of the financial decisions that have to be made during the course of time during a divorce that is high conflict. So seek out resources that can help you with people, not your friends. I'm going to say this. Seek out people who can really help you plan how you are going to respond to the high conflict person. Have a plan. You know this. Treat it like a chess match and decide how you want to show up and walk through it with someone who can help you keep the plan. Make the plan and keep the plan. Don't look to your friends and family to play this role with you. 9 times out of 10, they are going to be mad on your behalf. They are angry on your behalf. You don't have to take that. You don't need that. He doesn't deserve that. She doesn't deserve that, etc. She's taking you for a ride. That's not what you need right now. Right now, that's going to exacerbate whatever loud voices and scary voices and crazy voices are living in your head. So seek out resources that can take you down a level or two and ground you out and walk you forward so that you get through this with your sanity intact. When you're faced with someone who is dead set on fighting to the death, like this is a death penalty case, right? And they're going to just burn you to the ground. It's scorched earth. When you're faced with that, how do you know when to just fight back like crazy or just to give in or just compromise? And the answer is, I don't know. I don't know that. You know that. You know that because you know how it feels in your body. You know how much you can take. I can tell you. I can tell you what the court's going to do. I can tell you typically this is what a court's going to find. Typically this is what might happen at mediation. Typically if we go to trial, if we have a final hearing, here's your best day in court, here's your worst day in court. I can tell you all that. I can tell you that something is worth fighting for legally or not based on what I think is going to happen at trial. But it's going to take a while to get to trial. And so only you know how much it's worth to you to have the fight versus to find a compromised position that allows you to breathe and move on. You know, how it really depends. How sick of it are you? How ready are you to be you again? That is a really good question. If you're ready to be you again, it might be time for some compromise. So if you are in the midst of a divorce proceeding, or even you're not in the middle of it, you're facing it, and you know that your spouse is going to want to fight to the death. We've been here. We've done it. We've seen it. We understand it. And we can help you walk through it with grace and style and show up the way you want to in this and end it well so you can slay your sequel.